We are just now finishing the 24th day of Elul, and we're going into the 25th day of Elul. So on the 24th day, I mentioned that special prophecy in history occurred that was given to the prophet Haggai by the Kadosh Baruch Hu, that it's time to build Beit HaMikdash. Today, another important part of history happened. And again, we're not going to now do the test, but on the 25th of Elul, a very important thing happened in our history. And that's the day that the world was created. So on the 25th of Elul, that's when creation started. I know that a lot of people think maybe because Rosh Hashanah is the birth of the world or the creation of the world. But the 25th day of Elul is when the first part of creation in this world, and Rosh Hashanah is the birthday. We're celebrating the birthday of Adam HaRishon. It's the 6th day of creation. So the same way that we had last week, that from the 18th day of Elul, I said that every day from the 18th day of Elul, including the 18th day of Elul, corresponds to one day of the entire year. From the 1 month from the entire year. So the 18th day of Elul will correspond to Tishrei, the 19th day of Elul to Cheshvan, and so forth. So now we have kind of equivalent that today is the first day of creation, and tomorrow will be the second day of creation, and so forth. So with that said, knowing that today we're celebrating or commemorating or trying to focusing on what happened on the first day of the creation of the world, what really happened on the first day of the creation of the world is that Hashem revealed Himself in this lower world as one unit or one entity. That's why in the Torah it doesn't says that it's Yom Rishon. It says Yom Echad. So technically it should say it's a Sunday, Yom Rishon, but it says it's Yom Echad, it's a day one. But it's not, has nothing to do with day one, rather it's the day that Echad, that the unity of the Kadosh Baruch Hu was revealed in this world. That's really what happened on the first day of creation, which is, if you want to look at it in a more simplified way, it's the beginning of our connection with God in this world, of course, because obviously we're connected to Hashem before that. But that's the day that Hashem revealed Himself in this world, and that's the day that we started a connection with God. When it was asked in many different places, why did Hashem create the world? Well, what do we need this headache? So of course there's many different answers, but there's one answer given in the Midrash, that it says that the Kadosh Baruch Hu had the desire, the urge to create and to have a dwelling place in the lowest world in the universe. Nitavalo, Kadosh Baruch Hu liot dira b'tachtonim. He wanted to have a place to dwell in the lowest places of all, and He created the world. So, again, today it's not the first day, rather the day that Echad, one, the unity of Hashem was revealed in the Kadosh Baruch Hu, which for us what it means, the beginning of the connection with Hashem. Now, what is so unique about this day is that the Kadosh Baruch Hu showed to us in this day that He's the one who's in control to the world. Most people, maybe they believe in Hashem, but they didn't reach to the level that they internalized that the Kadosh Baruch Hu is running the world. Because if you would reach to that level, you would never have any worries, you don't have any anxieties, you have 100% trust in Hashem, nothing bad happens. Why? Hashem runs the world. But we're still in physical bodies, and we have to work towards revealing the fact that the Kadosh Baruch Hu, He's controlling and ruling the world. So why do we need to acknowledge or to see that the Kadosh Baruch Hu is the ruler of the world? What's the big deal? Isn't it easier to be created like an animal? An animal is like a robot. The animal doesn't have free choice. The animal is designed in a certain way. So the cow will eat the grass, and the tiger will have to hunt, and whatever. That's how they're created. They don't have to think too much. You know, when a cow is born, they're not thinking about college and investing in the future, and I have to find a family, and where am I going to settle, and I don't like this place, I'm going to have to relocate there. Animals, they're kind of programmed to do whatever they do. And if the animal is a vicious animal, that I don't necessarily can say vicious actually, but an animal that lives off other animals, it's not because the animal is bad. A lion is not bad. That's his nature. His nature is to hunt another animal and to eat the other animal. That's how Hashem created it. And if Hashem created the cow or the sheep to eat grass, that's how they created. So isn't it easier for us to be created like that too? Why do we need this whole thing that I have to make decisions right now? I have to figure things out. And basically, what do I need to figure out? To make a long story short and to make it simple, is the Kadosh Baruch Hu is the master of the universe and he controls the universe. Why do I need this headache? Just make me a robot and I'll eat the grass or whatever you tell me to do and I'll do it. So the reason why Hashem created us different than any other creation is because Hashem, for whatever reason, this we're not going to be able to understand probably ever, but Hashem, for whatever reason, wanted that the awareness that there's a creator to the world and a shalit, somebody who's in control, that this awareness will be penetrated into the physical world. In the spiritual world, there's no problem. The angels see Hashem, they stand, they can't move from fear. So, but here, nobody has fear. You know who has fear from the Kadosh Baruch Hu? The inanimates. And that's why they don't move. We don't see the Kadosh Baruch Hu, so we walk freely around Hashem. We don't see that Hashem is all around us. The Torah says, Umlo chol haaretz kevado. Hashem is everywhere. The Zohar says, V'let atar panui mineh. There's not even one place in the universe that Hashem doesn't exist in. So how come we're just walking around without any fear? Because we don't see or feel Hashem. The lower the level of creation, the more they see Hashem, the more still they become. So animals are a little bit lower than us, and then the vegetations, but the lowest of all is the inanimates. Why does the inanimate doesn't move? The inanimate also has a soul in it. Stones have souls. Everything that exists has a soul. But they might seem to us in such a low level, but really they're in a higher level. They see God, so the stone is frozen. It can't move because it sees the Kadosh Baruch Hu. It's completely frozen. So for whatever reason, Hashem wanted that the awareness that He's the ruler of the world and that the world is controlled by Him, this awareness should be spread in this world. And who's the one who was given this job? Us. And we have to bring the world to a level of awareness that we know that the Kadosh Baruch Hu is in control in the world. That's the relationship that we have with Hashem. Now, not only that, if we're able to reach to that level, that there's a hidden potential to reveal the unity of the Kadosh Baruch Hu. Right now we don't see the unity of Hashem. When Mashiach is going to come very soon, Bayom Hahu yeh Hashem echad u'shmo echad. In that day, we're going to see that Hashem is one, His name is one, everything is one. This is a very high spiritual level. This is a glimpse of what Adam HaRishon saw, that everything is what's called Achduto Yitbarach, His unity in the world. We're far away from that. But there's a potential. Hashem says, I want you to reveal this potential, showing that I, and not me, that Hashem says that I am the governor of the world. I rule the world. So the revelation of godliness in this world is depending on us. Now, how is that got to do? This is a very nice thing to understand and to ponder upon. But what's it got to do with Teshuvah in Elul? So a big part of my Teshuvah in Elul, now we're already very close to Rosh Hashanah. So the level of Teshuvah that I need to work on is not necessarily if I did the mitzvah, I didn't do the mitzvah, I did the sin, I didn't do the sin. That we already did 3 weeks ago. Now my level of Teshuvah is yesterday and the day before and the day before we were talking about, wait a minute, I need to do a tikkun for the level of my nefesh. How do I do that? By refining my speech, which is corresponding to the level of ruach. How do I do that? I do it with confession. And we say slichot, hashamnu, bagadnu, gazalnu. We say the 13 attributes of mercy. I explained that 3 days ago. What it means when we say vayavor Hashem al panav vayikra. Vayavor is 2 words together corresponding to chesed and gvura. Don't want to elaborate on that. You can find it in the class from 3 days ago. But the last couple of days, we're constantly going a little bit higher in the level of teshuvah, because my teshuvah is not only if I owe somebody money, or if I have to apologize to somebody, or if I stole something, I have to give it back. That's, of course, that's a given. But now my teshuvah is how much I'm aware of the fact that the Kadosh Baruch Hu is Echad veYachid uMeyuchad. He's one. He's the only one. There's nothing else but Hashem. En od milvado. Because if I will reach to that level, I don't have any worries. I don't have any fears. I don't have any anxieties. I serve Hashem with love. I serve Hashem in completion. I'm not talking that it's something so easy to acquire. But nevertheless, a big part of my teshuvah is that how much am I aware, how much Hashem is alive in my life. The fact that I wear a yarmulke and I come here to pray 3 times a day, some people do it because of they like to socialize. Or it's a refuge for them. I know some men, and they just need quiet from their wife. I'm going to go and pray, honey. I'm coming back in 3 hours. There's a very long class. So some people, they come for the coffee, the food, whatever, to hang out. A lot of people, they don't do it because they can't wait to connect with Hashem and to feel the unity with Or and Sof, with the infinite light. Some people do it. It's if they're not going to show up, the people from the community say, "Where were you yesterday? I didn't see you." What, you're suddenly frying out? You're becoming now not observant? And a lot of people, they do certain things. Next to other people, they behave one way, very observant, and at home, they don't. Who cares? So, chas v'shalom, I'm not putting anybody on the spot, and I'm definitely not trying to make fun or mock anybody, but nevertheless, I need to ponder and meditate on the fact is how much Hashem is really in my life. Do you really believe that Hashem is all around you all day long? Because if you do, then I'm sure you get dressed very modestly in the bathroom. You don't walk around the house without a shirt. And I'm sure you behave a certain way because, Hashem is next to me. So, and this is one example out of many. You have to take a moment a day. I would recommend more than a moment a day, maybe an hour a day. And not only in Elul, every day, to say to yourself, to question yourself, how much am I aware that the Kadosh Baruch Hu is Echad and there's nothing else but the Kadosh Baruch Hu? Because if that's the level of my awareness, then I wouldn't even dare to lie. I wouldn't even dare to slander. I wouldn't even dare to steal or anything. I would be like, wait a minute, Kadosh Baruch Hu is looking at me. Now, as we counting the days down to Rosh Hashanah, some people get very scared. Wait a minute, I'm now being called to court. Alevai, that we would be scared of Rosh Hashanah, how you're scared when you're called to court because you got a ticket. You got a ticket or somebody's suing you, you go to court, you're praying, Alevai, I wish we had the fear of Rosh Hashanah. I'm going to stand everybody, we're going like sheep in front of the Kadosh Baruch Hu. That's what we pray on Rosh Hashanah. We're just passing next to the Kadosh Baruch Hu. The texts say that we're passing in front of Hashem like sheep. I say that we're like going through an X-ray machine. And Hashem is now going to see everything. I mean, I don't know, I get afraid. Wait a minute, I don't know what I did. I don't know where I'm holding. Yeah, I have a few mitzvot on my record. Who says their mitzvot are in, maybe it's 3% and then I have 97% bad. Don't be so sure that you are such a pious person. Lehefech. The Mishnah says that La'olam Adam Yiret Atzmo Kerasha. Always look at yourself like as if you are Rasha, that you are in the lowest of all. Why? Because if you think you're doing so great, you're going to start rounding corners at some point. The point we want to take from this auspicious day is, again, yesterday we talked about the prophecy of Haggai. Every day when something happens in history, in many of the cases, in all the cases, it will repeat itself again on the same day every year. Because the shine, the godly shine, what's called the he'ara, it repeats itself like a cycle, like a Ferris wheel. It makes a circle, and the cabin where you're in, it always will reach to the same spot. So every day in the calendar, it's some type of a repetition. So if it happened 5,779 years ago, then it's happening again today, which is really 5,780. Well, it depends which opinion. There's 2 opinions in the Talmud about the year. There's one opinion, Rabbi Yeshua, that we're actually counting the entire week of creation as a year. And there's different calculations. So we're 1 year ahead. But nevertheless, this is irrelevant. The point is that today we are repeating it. So there's obviously today going to be a revelation of Achdut Hashem, of the unity of Hashem in the universe, that Hashem bestows this special light in the world. Now I have to tap into this light And part of my teshuvah is to take a moment and say, how much is Hashem dominating in my life? Am I 100% seeing en od milvado? Now I'm not with myself. I don't have expectations. I'm not Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai that sees the unity of Hashem and he's a pious individual. But at least I have to have the awareness. Once I get to that awareness, I don't know about you, when I get to this awareness, I understand that for me, en od milvado is 1%. Because if you understand that Hashem is all around you, as they sing to the kids in kindergarten, Hashem is here, Hashem is there, Hashem is really everywhere. Well, if Hashem is really everywhere, why do you lie? Why do you cheat? Why do you slander? Why do you do all sorts of things if Hashem is everywhere? So obviously it's not in your awareness. And again, it's not about putting a person down, it's about revealing this awareness. This is step one. Step two, once you already reach to that level, first of all, by default, it makes you a much more observant individual. You're more modest. You think before you talk. Everything that you do, you're calculating because Hashem is next to you. It's almost like you working in a workplace and your boss is not looking at you. You do whatever you want. But if you know there's cameras everywhere, saying, wait a minute, I'm on screens right now. The boss or whatever, they can see me. Suddenly your behavior is much, much different. I told you already my example I always give. Put now in this room music. And assuming it's a song that everybody likes, so you'll see the people put the exact same song in a closed room when nobody sees you. Suddenly you like busting moves. Why? Because nobody sees you. And you can teach Michael Jackson moves, but next to other people you're like that. But that's the reality. That's everybody like that. When you're by yourself, I think this is even when I was a teenager, there was a song, Dance Like As If Nobody's Looking, something like that. Why? Because when nobody sees you, you are a total different individual. So, but Hashem sees you. Hashem is with you all the time. Why you don't care how Hashem is looking at you? Now when you reach to that awareness, now you have to understand that a huge part of your responsibility in this world is to bring the world to the awareness that there is a Kadosh Baruch Hu and that there's only one God. Now, how much are you failing there? Are you running in the streets screaming that there's a Kadosh Baruch Hu? Are you every person that you meet, you're telling them you know that there's a master of the universe, you know he created the world, you know he's alive in you right now, without him you are ein va'efes, you are a nobody. How much do you advertise the Kadosh Baruch Hu? You don't have to be the chief rabbi of the world to do that. You have to be a dedicated Jew to advertise. This is called Pirsum Elokuto Ba'olam. Advertising the godliness of the Kadosh Baruch Hu in this world. That's why Hashem created the world. Agdil Torah v'le'adir. It's Kiddush Hashem. So again, I know to many people they don't see it as part of my teshuvah. This has to be part of your teshuvah. Because Hashem is not necessarily looking if you're started Shacharit at 7 or 7:05. And what kavanah you had when you put the tefillin, or if you forgot to do something, yeah, of course He's looking at that. But Hashem is also looking at you, especially when you come 3 times a day to shul, and you observe Shabbat, and you eat kosher, and you wear tzitzit, and you are living your life as an observant individual. I don't know, using terms, Orthodox, Hasidic, it doesn't matter. Observant, that you observe the Torah. Now, if you're already observing the Torah, Hashem is already looking at you from here. Kadosh Baruch Hu medakdekim tzadikim kichut ha'se'ara. Kadosh Baruch Hu is particular with more righteous and pious people, like the length of a hair. So Hashem is looking at us. You think He has an expectation of somebody who just became observant? Hashem says, I have high expectations from you. You know much better. Do you go and affect other people? Do you try to intervene? Do you do anything to advertise my name in the world? Now don't think for 1 second that doesn't go on your record. You know, I always say that I am afraid of the Kadosh Baruch Hu, that I will be sued. Because if I see something now happening, and I don't say anything, mind your own business. No, I might get sued in Shamayim. You saw that person doing this action, and you didn't intervene, you didn't say. Maybe if you would come and say, excuse me, you're not allowed to do that, according to the Torah, maybe that person will listen to you. Maybe 99% of the time you'll be brushed off, but maybe one time the person will say, really? I didn't know. So Hashem has higher expectations from us. Why? Because we have to advertise God's unity and revelation in the world. So again, we're talking now a much higher step in our teshuvah. It's not Teshuvah if now I was on time to Shacharit or not. Or like I told you before, if I owe somebody money, I have to apologize to somebody. That's a given. So the point is that we want to take this Gilui Or, this godly revelation in the world today. Don't brush this day off. This is the day the world was created. This is the birthday of the day, not of the world. It's actually kind of interesting that we don't do anything on the 25th day of Elul. Maybe a party, I don't know, if I bring in something. It's the creation of it's the birthday of the world. That's the day that the Kadosh Baruch Hu decided to turn the switch on. I mean, I think that deserves a cake with 5,780 candles. But nevertheless, now we're really on the countdown to the days of Rosh Hashanah. I will also suggest, we're not going to have time to do classes about that, but try to relate with what happened on the first day, the second day, the third day, and do tshuva regarding to that. Because according to the teachings of Kabbalah, on the first day, Hashem used the attribute of chesed to create the world. And on the second day, He used the attribute of gvura to create the world. And third is tiferet, and the fourth day, netzach, and Shabbat is malchut, right? So I can do tshuva today. I can do tshuva for any time that I blemished the midah, the attribute of chesed in my neshama. How do I damage my midah of chesed? As if I was supposed to give and I don't give. Somebody now knocks on my door. No, I don't feel like giving him right now. I don't want to talk to this guy right now. He's going to take 20 minutes of my time right now. Suddenly you duck. Hey, Hashem sent somebody to your door. And you're ducking? No, so you do a blemish in midat chesed, because that person needs right now 5 minutes of your time. Maybe he just needs 20 shekels, but maybe he needs your time. And a lot of people says, oh, right now I don't want to see this guy. Whoa! You got to be careful. Hashem sent the person already to you. He wants you to apply chesed, kindness. Now, if you avoid that, you create a blemish in midat chesed in the world above, in your neshama. Same thing with gvura and tiferet and so forth. Like I said, we don't have time to really elaborate on that. But today, then do tshuva for midat chesed that you blemished. Tomorrow, midat gvura, till you reach to Rosh Hashanah. So now we're already taking our level of tshuva to a much higher level. And Rosh Hashanah is in a few days. So the point is to internalize every word. See the video 3-4 times if you don't take notes, and say, okay, how am I applying it in my life? Because if I'm standing in the same place in my level of tshuva, so what's your tshuva? Mi ale behar Hashem. Who's going to climb the mountain of Hashem? You want to get close to Hashem? You have to climb a mountain. And when you look at yourself 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, a year ago. I look at myself a year ago, and even 5 years ago. Where was I 5 years ago? Where was I 20 years ago? Shem Yerachem, where was I? But now, you can tap yourself on the back. I did pretty good. But your tshuva has to be higher and higher. This is like a high school. This is not like little elementary school anymore. So your tshuva has to be in that level. How much you are aware of Hashem's unity and how much it's revealed in the world. And what are you doing towards that? Yesterday we spoke, what are you doing to race in the Geulah? If you're not doing anything, don't think for 1 second there's not going to be a kitrug for that. I think a lot of people, they don't understand that there's going to be a prosecution against them. Wait a minute, you are aware about the coming of Mashiach and you're not doing anything to advertise that? You're not running in the streets and telling people Mashiach is coming? I'm afraid of that. I'm afraid that the heavenly court will send me a lawsuit. You know something and you didn't say that. So you feel you're awkward, you feel you're embarrassed. Who's asking you right now? Hashem gave you responsibility. So again, you have to be aware that Hashem also wants you to advertise His name in the world and to be aware about what's called Achdut Hashem, that everything is Hashem. Hashem is around me. Hashem Echad U'Shmo Echad. Needless to say, you start working on that, you'll see your relationship with Hashem is becoming much better. Today is the day we started a relationship with Hashem. Hashem is interested in our relationship. He's very happy that you're putting tefillin every day, but now start developing the relationship. It's almost like a couple that they meet in the first few months. There's excitement, they fall in love, but after 5 years, that's when you build the relationship. You already know each other, you know each other's faults. Hashem knows you kind of know Hashem. Now start developing this relationship with Hashem. This is a very, very big part in our tshuva, but you work on it, you'll see that you're already elevating yourself to a much higher level to enter Rosh Hashanah in a completely different level in your tshuva. Bezrat Hashem should have a very successful week before we reach to Rosh Hashanah.